What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's Daily Devo, man, and we are discussing Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 through 16. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and stop the tape, read it, see what it has to say, come back, and we'll discuss the 4 questions. If you've already read it, man, we're going to go ahead and jump on into it. So we are on the episode now between contention between the 2 ladies in the house. We've got Sarai and Hagar. And what happened is that it came to pass that they hadn't had a child yet. It's been, I think, about 12 years, something like that. And there still is no child being born between them two, Abram and Sarai. So Sarah's like, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, man. And so she gives her female servant Hagar to Abram to have a child. And Abram, he just accepts it. He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead and give it to me. And then they conceive and have a child. And then they don't have a child, I'm sorry, they conceive and she's pregnant. And when she's pregnant, she begins to show some contention against Sarai, boasting herself to be the one above all in the family because of her new status as the woman that has a child. And so Sarai feels kind of maligned and stuff for that, man. And because of that, then Sarai goes and she complains to Abram. She's like, man, you have done this to me. You have placed me in this position. You have made me into the place where I am, which is kind of crazy because technically it's her fault for giving Hagar to Abram, but that's not how she sees it. And so she has like these harbored feelings in her. And I think there was like a law back in the day, back in this time, where if you were the slave girl that had a child but boasted yourself up to a higher status, then you became equal status with the matriarch of the family. And so I think this might be what's going on right now between Sarai and Hagar. But what happens is it seems like we find that when we have contention between the spouses in the marriage, because we're outside of the design of marriage, then problems ensue, problems incur. And that's what we can see here. Plus, not trusting in the promises of God that he said he would cause something to happen, and he will in his time. And it's hard to wait. I'll tell you, it's hard to wait. Anyway, what does this scripture say about God? Well, he's intentional and he's purposeful in his plan. I think that's an important thing that we've got to remember, is that from the very beginning, we've seen that he is creating something to make this world new. He is causing a family to come together so that the promises can be carried out. He is bringing up a lineage in the people of Noah, of now the person of Abraham and Sarai. He is doing something to save the world, and he is blessed, and he's called Abraham to himself. And won't those who he call do what he says he'll do? That's the thing, that we're seeing that everybody, Abram, Sarah, all these people are hearing the promises of God, but not acting them out in some ways. And Abram, we see he turns and begins to follow a little bit straighter the path, but still he falls from it and his leading of his family. But God is intentional and purposeful in all that he does. What does this say about man? Well, I think first off, it says that we shouldn't be passive in our life in carrying out the things of God. See, that's the example we got from Adam whenever he was passive in rebuking Eve for eating the fruit. And instead, he just sat back, watched, let the serpent deceive, then took a bite of the apple as well. And in the same way, this is the same thing, that Sarah gets a woman and puts him before Abram to do with it as he will, so that he can make the child of the promise in drop quotes for himself, rather than allow God to do this, taking a passive role as to what Sarai wants him to do rather than what God has called him to do. And so we see this passive, this abdication of rule in his family. And because of that, sin encroaches. And now we'll see in the next section a prophecy that's going to occur, and it's going to like cause contention in the family for generations. What's this say also about man is I think that we should be walking with God, not through God. We have Sarai, who seems to be walking through God, trying to break down everything that he is trying to do to create, even though she can't, because she does not have the power. But it seems as if that's what she's doing, as she's driving wedges in her home and she's driving wedges in her future, instead of allowing God to fulfill the promise that he's promised in the beginning. Well, how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? Well, I think we should trust God with the plans. We got to see him do these things. We've got to know that he can do this thing. He's all powerful. He's all powerful, sovereign, Lord. He is the one who can do all things, has the promise to carry it out and the will to do so, but we don't allow him to. I think that's the important thing right here is when you see God and he's called you to do something, do it and let him take care of the rest. You walk, and let him take care of the rest. That's what I've been trying to tell myself lately, is that he is my sword and my shield. I'm sorry, he's my shield and my reward. That's what I've been trying to say, and I pray that that's the thing that you guys say. So, thank you guys for listening, man, and I'll carry out these truths in our lives as we seek to know him and live out his purpose so that he can call us to a greater, a more wonderful, and a more powerful thing that will be seen on this earth and will bring him glory. I'll see you guys in the next one.